Next, moving on, Content Marketing Institute. Your website, your rules, why owned content still wins. I thought this was a great article, really great article at the Content Marketing Institute. And essentially, it's talking about, in a nutshell, how the best content is your owned content, your website, your assets that you own. I've been a firm believer in this, literally, and I know we have as a company for decades. Literally, we've been so. And what this means is, I remember in the early days of Facebook, right? We would, there were clients that would want to post full content, full articles on Facebook, and we would say, well, look, don't do that, or on LinkedIn, or wherever, because what you're doing is you're giving that content to Facebook. That is now their content. Yeah, but it's on my account. That's meaningless. Your account is meaningless, right? Tomorrow, right, Meta or LinkedIn or YouTube or any platform could change their terms of service, and all your wonderful content you've spent an exorbitant amount of time, money, resources, and effort building could be gone. But guess what? When you own it, when you have it on your own website, your own brand, that is literally you own the domain. You're paying for the hosting. No one can touch that content, from you. You can't have a third party just say, oh, people may not agree with it, right? That's freedom of speech. But the point is, you're not going to have a third party, especially from a business perspective. So our advice always is, get your content everywhere, be everywhere, but the root of your content should be your assets that you own as an organization, as a company. So, what do you both think on this?
How it works is that, yes, AI uses all these other sources besides your website to gather information about you, but control all of that. Control how you're listed in the profiles, release press releases. This is all your content. Now, on the flip side, well, not the flip side, but to add to that, don't do this at the expense of working on the content on your own website. Your goal is to make your website the number one source of all the sources where your business is mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
That's what your goal should be.
Yep.
And in doing so, AI is going to say this is the most important source for this business. You want that most important source to be your website, not a listing somewhere.
Absolutely. John, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, you bring up a great point of when your content is being hosted somewhere else. Who knows what change might be made on that platform to where something you were doing might somehow be against their terms of service now, even if you weren't doing anything necessarily bad, right? There could be, maybe they don't want pictures on posts anymore. Who knows? Something silly, right? And all that content gets deleted. Well, on your website, that's not going to happen, right? So you need to have your own website, and your all of your content should also live there, so that if something happens, that still exists online and you can still get cited by AI, you can still get good traffic and all that.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It never ceases to amaze me how people don't understand these concepts, but this is why we talk about it.